ruling politically motivated. Bangladesh urges India to extradite Hasina. India says committed to best interest. What options does Sheikh Hasina truly have?
Dramatic and historic turning point. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal has delivered its verdict, finding the former Prime Minister guilty of crimes against humanity and has sentenced her to death. The charges against her are grave and manifold. Prosecutors accused Hasina of orchestrating a systematic, coordinated and widespread campaign to crush the 2024 student-led uprising, alleging she incited violence, ordered the use of lethal force and failed to prevent mass murder. According to the court, Hasina gave open directives to deploy drones, helicopters and state security forces, all deployed to suppress protesters demanding reform. Hasina remains in self-imposed exile in India currently, having fled in August 2024. Faced with the verdict, Hasina remained defiant. In an earlier audio message, she declared, "Let them announce whatever verdict they want. It doesn't matter to me. Allah gave me this life and only He can end it. I will still serve my people." She rejected the court's legitimacy, calling the tribunal a kangaroo court and branding the entire trial as politically motivated. She went further, accusing the current interim government led by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus of fabricating charges and orchestrating her removal. Let's discuss the charges against Hasina in detail. First is inciting the students during the 2024 protests by terming them Razakars and engaging in a criminal conspiracy of incitement. Razakars is a term historically used for collaborators who aided the Pakistan army in the 1971 genocide and was not simply an insult but a deliberate act of incitement. According to the prosecution, by labeling the youth movement as Razakars, Hasina triggered a chain reaction within law enforcement, party cadres, intelligence operatives and affiliated militant units who interpreted her words as permission to treat protesters as enemies of the state. The court argued that this statement escalated violence, encouraged the use of lethal force and formed part of a wider criminal conspiracy to quash a democratic movement. The second charge is that Hasina is the mastermind of the July massacre and the individual who allegedly ordered the killings. Prosecutors argue that Hasina, as Prime Minister, acted as the principal architect of the security response. Evidence presented included operational directives allegedly issued from the PMO, communications between her top aides and security forces, and testimony suggesting she personally approved the deployment of snipers, riot police, drones and military-grade weapons for the above two charges. She was sentenced to death. The third charge pertains to the specific killing of Abu Saeed, a student demonstrator at Begum Rokeya University in Rangpur. On 16 July 2024, Saeed was shot dead during a protest. The prosecution argued that local police forces were following directives issued from Dhaka, Hasina and two top aides. Former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal and former IGP Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Mamoon were aware of the ongoing crackdown and no action was taken to stop or punish the shooting. This resulted in a 5-year prison term for this specific killing to all three. Fourth charge is killing of 6 students in Shankarpur. On August 5, 2024, 6 unarmed students were shot dead at Shankarpur, Dhaka. Investigators presented evidence that the attack was part of a coordinated operation, not an isolated incident. Testimonies were presented that said reinforcements were sent to Shankarpur after Hasina voiced dissatisfaction with the pace of the crackdown. The prosecution argued that Hasina's directives created the climate, orders and operational chain that enabled these killings. The fifth and the last charge was the killing and burning of 6 men in Ashulia. On August 5, 2024, 6 people were shot, 5 bodies burned and 1 person allegedly burned alive, with the accused allegedly involved in approving the act. Video evidence, witness statements and forensic reports were brought to the tribunal, describing the incident as an attempt to destroy evidence, intimidate protesters and conceal the scale of the crackdown. Prosecutors argued that officers believed they had a full political authorization for such actions, flowing from the highest levels, namely Hasina and her inner circle. The tribunal deemed this incident a premeditated act of extreme cruelty carried out with state sanction. Hasina was convicted for approving or enabling these actions and received the death penalty under this charge as well. Let's discuss what happened and what is happening in Bangladesh on the day of the verdict. The capital Dhaka was tense. Security was tightened dramatically around the tribunal. Ironically, a shoot-on-sight order was issued for anyone seen hurling crude bombs or setting vehicles on fire. Reporters, lawyers, students, leaders and bereaved families filled the courtroom, waiting for a decision they called much awaited. Explosions and arson attacks had rocked the city in the days before. Beyond the judicial ruling, the political stakes in Bangladesh have never been higher. The country is in a state of limbo. A year has passed with no elected government. Since Hasina's downfall in August 2024, the interim administration under Yunus has taken control. The Awami League, Hasina's party, has been banned from political activity, its registration with the Election Commission suspended, effectively sidelining it from upcoming polls. Many see this as a deliberate move to prevent her return to power. Amongst the principal political actors are Mohammad Yunus, the interim government's head, Khalida Zia, long-standing rival of Hasina and former leader of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, and the student leaders who spearheaded the uprising. Yunus, once celebrated for his microfinance work, now leads the nation through transitional reforms laid out in the July Charter. This charter is a 26-point roadmap proposing constitutional change, a two-term limit for prime ministers, stronger checks and balances, and formal recognition of Bangladesh as a multi-ethnic, multi-religious state. Khalida Zia was released from house arrest during the uprising. She was in house arrest before the uprising due to a conviction for corruption in 2018. She and her two sons were charged with embezzling foreign donations meant for an orphanage trust established during her tenure as Prime Minister. On July 2025, she had called for national unity and justice for those who died. Her faction, along with BNP supporters, has criticized both Hasina and Yunus, accusing Hasina of authoritarianism and Yunus of sidelining traditional party politics. There have also been serious allegations circulating about the role of foreign forces. Intelligence reports cited in media outlets claim that Khalida Zia's son, Tariq Rahman, conspired with Pakistan's ISI to destabilize Hasina's government. Meanwhile, some in Yunus's government have suggested that Hasina's remaining loyalists are a front for external interference, though the details remain murky and contested. In a controversial move, Yunus reportedly presented a map to a visiting Pakistani general that depicted northeast India, including Assam, as part of a greater Bangladesh, triggering diplomatic outrage. India has approached Bangladesh's political upheaval with measured caution. After Hasina was ousted in August 2024 amidst the mass protests, New Delhi has expressed concern and reiterated its commitment to a stable, democratic Bangladesh. Prime Minister Modi, during his first meeting with interim leader Mohammad Yunus, urged against inflammatory rhetoric and emphasized pragmatic cooperation, particularly on security and minority rights. Despite a formal extradition request from Dhaka, India has given a guarded response and not handed her over, citing the legal complexity of the matter. When the tribunal sentenced Hasina to death for crimes against humanity, India responded diplomatically. The MEA has said it noted the verdict and affirmed its intent to engage constructively with all stakeholders in Bangladesh, prioritizing peace, inclusion and stability. New Delhi also reiterated that its actions are guided by the best interests of the Bangladeshi people. Well, now that Hasina has called ICT a kangaroo court, let's take a minute to discuss this court. The ICTBD, or International Crimes Tribunal Bangladesh, is a special domestic court set up by the Bangladeshi government to investigate and prosecute grave offences such as genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes and other serious violations of international law. Originally established in 1973 and reactivated in 2010, the tribunal has handled high-profile cases involving political leaders, militant groups and senior figures accused of orchestrating violence or mass killings. Although the tribunal plays a significant role in Bangladesh's accountability framework, it has also faced criticism from human rights groups and foreign observers who argue that its procedures lack transparency. In some shape, Hasina's conviction marks a seismic moment in Bangladeshi politics, a reckoning for her rule, a test for the interim government, and perhaps a turning point for ordinary citizens who rose up demanding a new social contract. Whether this verdict will heal the wounds of the July revolution or deepen the national divide remains to be seen. What is certain is that Bangladesh's political order has been fundamentally reshaped, and the coming months will be critical in determining who truly holds power.
Sheikh Hasina gets death penalty, says ruling politically motivated. Bangladesh urges India to extradite Hasina. India says committed to best interest. What options does Sheikh Hasina truly have?